the GUI for the Alteryx designer, and we have the two palettes. Let me see how I can move this away. Okay, so we have the two palettes. In the two palettes, we have the favorite tools. The favorite tools have to always have these this yellow star on top of them, which means that basically they are the one that are very common that we use mostly for our elementary job and stuff like that, like the elementary or the beginner stage of probably of the analytic process for when you're using Alteryx Designer. So we also have other two palettes. You can see we have recommended as well. So the recommended is all this text and input data and the likes. So we have input in and out, where we have the auto insight, the browse tool. I will show you what the browse tool does. The datetime now tool, the directory if you want to read a file in a directory, probably a directory that contains multiple files and so on. So the input data is what Mr. Philip just used now. And we have the map input as well that they use for geolocation analytics and stuff like that. And we use the output data to write into a particular file. Basically, we use that to write into Excel file. And the text input file is, okay, let me just show you what the text input file does. So for instance, if maybe you want to do like a kind of a VLOOKUP, and you just want to look up for a particular set of value, you can create your own table. So this is how to do it. Let me say I want to, my feed name, I want to name it name, and I want to make this to be age. So you can put in your values here, maybe you can put maybe 10, you can put bash, you can put days, and this star means the row and the column can still accept any value or any attribute. So you can have multiple, it's like a kind of a normal data table. So it all depends on, let's say this is color, you can make this to be blue, you can make this to be white. And now I've created a table, right? So once you created a table, what the next thing for you to do is just hit the run button. So once you hit the run button, so you can see I have my table here. So this is the results pane. This is the canvas. This is the configuration pane here. Is the configuration pane. This is the canvas where we will throw in all our tools to be configured. And this is our tool palette here. And another thing I would like to show you is this. If you want to learn about a particular tool, that maybe I want to learn about the select tool, you can type select example. Can you see? If you click on, if maybe you want to learn about this tool, if you click on the example, if you click on this, so this is how the select works. So you can see the select tool allows you to select the column that flow downstream, rename and reorder columns, modify data types, and add column description. These are all what the select tool can do. So you can do that for all the tools that we have in the Alteryx Designer. So basically, this is what, whenever I want to solve a problem, I'm looking at the best way to go about it and the best tool to apply. Times I come here and use the call is, I think, Global Search or something, to research about the tool I want to use. So that's that. So, and you can create multiple workflow. You can see there is a plus button like the tab, the normal tab we used to have in our Excel spreadsheet. And you can close it. And you can close it as well, but let's just leave this as is. So the next thing for us to do is that file. These are another method for us to browse into, or maybe I want to browse into an application. This is another way for me to okay, if I want to browse into an existing workflow or application, these are the workflow that I've built in the past. So if I want to open it, I can, this is a shortcut. You can come to your file to open it. And you can also use your file to save. For instance, if I want to save on the Alteryx server, I can save here. If I want to save on our Analytics Cloud, I can do that. And if I want to browse to save in my personal computer or my desktop, I can use this as well. So that's that. And if you want to print, so the other time that we're trying to activate the license, here is where we can probably manage our licenses. Let me show you this. So these are the licenses. These are my own licenses. This is my Office stuff anyway. So these are the licenses that I use from Alteryx Designer and Alteryx Intelligence Suite. So that's that. So today, what we want to do now is that I want to show you how this, how we can probably do little data manipulation and how to, I want to select the first 5 county in Indiana based on this on this Excel spreadsheet that I share with you. So let me do something, and I want you to please stop me and ask questions. So for you to bring in your data file into the inputs using the input tool. So there are so many tools that you can use. If you click on in, I can bring in the text input. I think I show you how to use that. I can bring in my own a data set, either in Excel spreadsheet or CSV or wherever. And I can also use this date time now is actually for date time conversion. So let's just leave that.
Can you
So,
pick from the directly from database, like all those database?
so let's see how the directory works. So can you see? The directory is going to be a directory on your PC. Maybe you have a directory that you created for a particular file. So you can use this directory to, can you say it's like, we have like user AA something downloads and the like. So I can change. When we get there, I will show you how to do it. Don't worry about that. So the basic one, we'll start to the basic one, which are the input data tool. So afterwards, then I'll show you how to use to pull data from the directory at time also. So we also have this configuration. This is the, whenever you click on the tool and you want to probably do like a kind of configuration, you can come here, this cog wheel, simply because I haven't loaded. So let me just load the data set I share with you. So let's click on the setup a connection. Let's click on file, and the data is stored in Microsoft Excel. So I'm going to click on Microsoft Excel. And okay, before I do that, let me show you the number of data sources that Alteryx supported. So if you, as you can see, support, you can bring in data from Adobe Analytics. You can bring in data from Microsoft Azure. You can bring in data from Azure Data Warehouse, Amazon Redshift, Amazon Redshift Spectrum. So these are all third-party platforms that Alteryx supported. You can see this is Salesforce, this is SAP HANA, this is Google Analytics, and this is Google Drive, this is Snowflake, this is Tableau, this is Teradata. We have a lot of them, and this is Microsoft Analytic Platform System. And the beauty of Alteryx is that the ODBC connection is easy, is very easy to set up. You can say most of them either connect by ODBC or OLEDB. So you can see frequently used data source in my organization. I connect directly to our Oracle, our Microsoft SQL Server, I connect to Azure as well. It all depends. Once I create the ODBC connection, the open data database connection, once I create that, then I will be able to connect to any database. So that's that. But for the sake of this hands-on, we are bringing in the Excel spreadsheet. So let's click on the the file, and we'll click on the Microsoft Excel. So once we click on that, I think the file name is Alteryx class 1. Then we can load that and click OK. Once I click OK, and I'll give it a run. So whenever you see a red icon on your tool, that means it has an error. So probably you need to like look into it and see why we are having that error. So let me bring in the comment box. So let's see. So input, output preparation. Okay, comment box. So in the comment box, you can also document whatever step you're taking. But for the sake of this class, let's say we want to select the top 5 county, in Indiana, where with full-time employees and their total pay, let's say total pay and benefits. So that's the problem we want to solve today. So if you look at this, you can see this is pretty very similar to what Microsoft Word or something. You can do your formatting as different shapes. It has rectangle. It has so many things. You can give it a color. You can do so many things as well. So maybe going forward in our other classes, I will try and probably represent each of the two, because each of the two have their own color code. If you look at this, the in and out tool is in green, the preparation tool is probably in blue, and the join tool is in purple, and the pass tool has their own color, the transformation tool, which is the summary, the transpose, the count records, in red and the like. So they all have their own color coding. So the guy that trained me, the way he did was that he put the color, he always put like a kind of a comment box and it would give it a color. So that will give you an insight of the type of tool is going to drop on the canvas for configuration. So that's that. So now that we have, another thing that I want to tell you is that Alteryx, can you look at this? At the configuration panel, we have preview of the first 100 records, but for the sake of this hands-on, I'm only using 82 record, just for us to know how to probably do our data manipulation using a very basic step. So whenever you have a record that is more than probably 100,000, 2,000 or wherever, the maximum that can be displayed in this result panel is just 1 MB. I think that 1 MB should be probably depend on the number of columns that is here. Like now we have like 13 fields, 13 columns, and just 82 record. So the maximum that can be displayed here in the result panel is, I think, is 1 megabyte. So whatever equivalent to 1 megabyte is what is going to show here. And this data record is about 2,000 or 5,000 or 10,000. The only result that will display here will shows maybe 1,002 out of the total record, instead of this 82 record displayed. So that's that. So let's take a look at the first thing that we need to do is that there is this tool that you can use to do like a kind of a data profiling, just for a little bit data investigation, for you to know how your data looks like. So let's bring in the browse tool. The browse tool will summarize all the columns and the likes for you. So let's give it a run. So each time you drop a 2 on the canvas, you have to run it. So these are all the columns that we have on these that the data set has. These are all the columns. So we have the employee, we have the job title, we have the base pay, we have the feeding allowance, we have everything. Total pay, we have all this, and we have the notes. You can see we have yellow. So yellow in Excel, in Alteryx Designer means that is a non-value. Can you see non 100%? So can you see this? This has like 30% non-value and 70% non-value. So all this column needs to be what? Needs to be clean. And we have the F13 as well. So for us to have a very good data quality, all our the column bar here in the browse tool should be what? Should be green. So the green means the data quality is good. It has no leading value, leading zero or leading space. It has no blank value, and all the values make it's clean and super clean. So for the job title, it's all green. The green bar means good. So take a look at this in the results panel. This is all green. The job title is all green. The base pay is green. The OT pay is all green. The feeding allowance is what? It's all green. The benefit is all green. The total pay is all green. The total pay with benefit is all green. If you look at the notes, you can see all this none. And here as well, because we have non-values and the like. So we also have none here. So the first thing for us to do now that we know that our data is not clean, the next thing for us to do is I'm going to delete this and I will bring in a select tool. So if you go to your preparation palette, you'll see a select tool. And so can you see? The select tool has an input anchor and an output anchor. But the input data tool has what? Has only the output anchor. So you have to collect the output anchor of a tool to the input anchor of another tool. But there are some some exceptional cases for some other tools that there is a tool that you don't even it doesn't need to have an input data stream. So what do I mean by input data stream? The output from this input data is an incoming data stream that fed the select tool, right? So in one of our classes, I think maybe Mr. ID or Fash, you asked me about metadata and stuff like that. And I show you that when we get into Alteryx, I will show you how Alteryx displays its metadata. If you look at this result panel, this is the data, right? The data was selected using the radio button, right? So if I check the metadata, can you see the metadata now? Can you see the metadata? This is the metadata, right? So this is like a kind of the characteristics of the data. A metadata will never display the content, the value passed to that attribute. It only show you the name, the data type, the size, and the source. And if you look at the source is coming from the Excel spreadsheet that I save on my desktop, and the description, and there's no value for the description here. So let's go back here. So now that we have the employee, we need to check if the data type it's okay. So let's do something. Let's go back to the metadata. So the base pay is okay. Let me do something, and I will run something again. I want to keep all this to be string. I want to keep all this to be string so that I'll be able to show you something. vstring, vstring, vstring. Please, if you have any question, let me know. V-string. Yeah, it's V-string. Let's just make everything to be V-string. And let's make this to be V-string. So I'm going to give it a run. So ideally, I was supposed to keep, when I was generating the data set, I was supposed to give it a data type of text in the data source in the Excel spreadsheet that will loaded into these that will pull into the input data set. So now I want you to take a look at this. So let's assume, so you can see that I use the selector to change the data type to be vstring, right? But ideally, I was supposed to pull a data type of vstring for all the columns in the data set. In the data set that were brought into these Alteryx Designer canvas using the input data set. So I want us to do something. If we look at this, do we really need the F3 based on our, let me click on this data. Do we really need our F3? It is all non-values, right? So we don't need it. So whenever you don't need a column, what you just need to do is that you have to uncheck it here in the we just have to uncheck it in the select tool, right? But since I use the select tool to convert this data set to what I want to show to you, so there is a data set. There is a tool. There is a tool in Alteryx that can actually do all this naming the data type conversion for you based on the exact data type supposed to be. Like for instance, we know that total pay can never be in vstring, supposed to be in currency, right? So instead of us doing all this thing manually, the best way and the smartest way to do it is that we can bring in this auto field. So the auto field will do the data type auto data type conversion for you. So once you bring in this, can you see what it did? It selects all the data column in the data set. So let's give it a run. And let's see how the data type is going to change. So this is the input anchor. Can you see in the result panel? This is the input anchor. If you look at the output, this is the output, right? So let's go to the metadata. Can you see what happened? It has changed the data type based on what it believes that's supposed to be the exact data type. And you can see that these have actually eradicated the manual process of selecting the data type from the select tool manually. So let's check. But one of the limitation of the auto feed is that it won't, if you have a date time format in your column, it won't be able to change it for you. You have to use the datetime tool for that. That is the only data type the auto feed can never change. But others data type, it will handle it and will change it to the appropriate data type. So let's take a look at this. The employee name should be in what? It should be in vstring, is a text. The job title should be in string, yes, is a text. The base pay should be in integer, right? And the status, the agency, the notes, you can see all the value that has the numbers and the likes are in integer. I think there is one of them that has a float. Yeah, so the benefit has a double. So in Alteryx Designer, their decimal their decimal data type is either float or double. It's either float or double. So that is that. So the next thing for us to do is that, let me check this. Then I have to bring in the select tool again. So I'm bringing the select tool just for me to change to select the data column that I want to use in my workflow. And for me to rename the column. So now, what do you think the OT pay should be? The OT pay should be what? Overtime pay. Overtime. I can do overtime pay. And do I need the F3? No. So if you look at this data set carefully, in the US, we use county, right? I don't know what I think you use our province in Canada. You can see that we have agency, but here it says county, 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 right? So this agency, I'm going to rename it to be what? To be county. I'm going to rename it to be county, right? And do I need a notes column? No, I don't need a note column. So I'm going to check it off. Do I really need a year? No, I think everything is 1999. So I don't really need the year. I'll check it off. So what else do we need to change? Let's see. So once you have made changes to your tool, then the next thing for that you should always remember to do is that you have to run your workflow again. So I'll click OK. So if I click on this, you can see now that my 13 columns has been reduced to what? So just 10, right? So what I need to do now is that the next thing for me to do is that I have to filter by what? We want to select the top 5 county in Indiana with full-time employees and their total pay and benefits. So we are looking at this, and we are looking at just the full-time employees. So the next thing for us to do is this. Then we have to select the filter tool. So I'll join the filter tool here. And can you see, this is pretty very easy. That's the reason why I used to tell you that in Alteryx is a low code or no code environment. So if I select on the column to filter, if I click on this, you can see I have all the columns in my table that I can probably select to filter. But in this case, I only want to look at what? The status. When the status is what? When the status is full-time. So another thing is that you can also customize your filter by writing your own code. So I can say when my status is equals to FT, or I can use the all button or the all or status equals PT part-time. Can you see? It's pretty very easy. It also has an IntelliSense like the Excel and or other tool as well. But for this sake, for the sake of the this hands-on or this exercise, we are just filtering by what? By the full time. So we have 82 record, right? So by the time I filter by my full time, the number of records should reduce. So let's click on the, I'm going to use my basic filter instead. And I'm going to click on run. So I'll click on OK. So now my true anchor is what? I have just 56. And my false anchor is what? I have 26. But I'm going with my true anchor. This is a data stream. This is a data stream. This is a condition I'm going with right now. So if you have like a kind of X condition that you want to work with as well, it's fine. Maybe you want to do like a kind of a comparison, probably to do the calculation based on the performance rate or something, and you want to know the condition that meet the performance rate and the condition that does not meet the performance rate. So you can have your true attached to the true anchor, and also have your two attached to the false anchor. It all depends on what you want to do. So the next thing that I have to do is that I have to sort. So how do I want to sort? I want to sort based on what? We want to select the top 5, right? The top 5 county with their total pay and benefit. So how do I do that? I have to bring in my sort tool, and this is the sort tool. I will join my sort tool to the true anchor. And once I join my sort tool to the true anchor, I will select the column that I want to sort upon. So I will select the total pay and benefit. And since it is top 5, then it has to be what? Descending. We are selecting from the top. So we will select the descending. So I'll select the descending, then I'll give it a run again. So if you look at the output anchor, can you see what happened? So the total pay and benefit here is what? The highest one is $62,837. The next one is $62,608. So, so once that has been handled, the next thing for us to do is to do what? So we want to select the top 5. Okay, so let's do something. I'm going to do. I've sorted by my total pay and benefits. So let me do my top 5. So I'll select the sample tool. So the sample tool is where you can probably select the number of records that you want to see. So let's do this. And can you see all this at the configuration panel? It shows the first n rows. But in this case, let's do something. Okay, let's make it maybe probably let's make it to be 10. And let's give it a run. So if it is 10 record, can you say we have just 10? Okay, this is the output rather. So this is the 10 record, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But we have Amington, Allen, and stuff like that. So the next thing that we can do, if you want to select just top 5, we can do top 5, and let's give it a run. So this is the top 5. Do you think this is the right thing for us to do? Let's take another route. I will select. This is the first 5 column, first 5 rows, right? But we have the Lake County, we have Marion County, and we have this. But I want to try something. Instead of selecting using the first 5 row, the top 5 county rather, the first 5 county. Let's do this. Here we sorted by the descending, which is we have the Lake County, we have the Marion County, we have all this. So instead of selecting the farmer, let's see, this is a record, this is a record, this is a record. Okay. So if you look at this question carefully, it says the top 5 counties. So what we need to do is that we need to do what? We need to group by county before we do, and then we'll do some. So before we select the first 5. So let's do something. I'm going to take this off, and let's bring in the transform tool. Let's do the summarize. And the summarize, I'm going to select the county, and I'm going to click group by, right? Once I group by county, then I'm going to select the total pay benefit, and I'm going to do what? I'm going to sum. Do you know what we are trying to do now? We are trying to sum by the total pay and select the top 5 county. So let's make this to be, I'm just going to say total county pay. So let's see if it's going to work. Okay. Well, let's see. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. This is 900,000. So this is not in the descending order. So let me bring in the sample tool, preparation, the sample tool. This is another method for you you can drop a tool in between tools that have been configured. So let's do the first 5. Let's give it a run. So group by county. Let's delete this. Okay, let's see the number of county we even have here. Okay, group by county, and let's select this. So group by county. Oh, so don't mind me. In the data set, I think we only have 4 counties. Marion, Allen, Lake, Amington. Oh, we only have, oh, I see. We only have 4. I thought we have a lot of county. So we can only group by, let's group by the top 2. So then we can do this and add some to it and make it um, total county pay. So if we want to do select, is this sorted here? Sort descending. Okay, status. Then we sort by descending. Sort by descending. Okay, so we have, okay, so we have these, and so another thing for us to do is we can sort this. Sort descending through. to pay full time. So we have the total count. So we just have to select the top. So we can do sort as well, but I can fix this from here. So we can do sort by county in descending. So this is going to sort it. And we can select, use the sample data tool. Use the sample data tool to select the first. If it's to select the first two counted, then we can select two, or if it is three. So we can do this. So let me bring this here. So can you see now that we have it in the descending order? So the Marion County has the highest full-time county pay for full-time employee in Indiana. And the second county is Lake County, and the third one is Allen County. So now, if we want to output our results, this is a workflow that started from this. Table of 13 fields and 82 records, but that was later summarized or transformed to just 3 records and 2 fields. So the best way for us to write our results, our output into a file is we'll come to our input and output to palette, then we'll select our output data. So once we select our output data, here you can write to an Excel spreadsheet. Here, if you want to push your result to a SharePoint site, you can connect a SharePoint site. Here, if you want to push your result to a Power BI, you can connect a Power BI to connector for you to build your visual. If you want to build your visual, definitely you can do that. But if you are only interested in just publishing the result of this, and you can publish it and schedule it to run on a daily basis. So you don't have to come here each time someone sends you this Excel spreadsheet to be doing a manual job. You can use this workflow to automate the process and build whatever report you want to build. So the best way to go about this is this. So if I want to write my result into an Excel spreadsheet, I will use the output tool file, the output data tool. Then I will click on set up a connection. Then I will click on Microsoft Excel. Then I will name it first Alteryx example. So I'll click save. I want you to pay attention to something here. Look at this configuration panel, the output data 13 configuration. You can see that, let me click OK. Okay, this is what I want to show you. Can you see this? Maximum record per file. File format is Excel. Output option, I want you to pay attention to this. Create new sheet. Look at this. It says append to existing sheet, overwrite sheet or range, overwrite file. So if I run this workflow for the very first time, and I put, let me leave it as this, as is, like say, create new sheet. You know, I've given it a name, right? To be my Alteryx first class or a first example or something. Let me give it a run. So it runs successful and it has written the value, the output here, right? Let me run it again. And let's see if it is going to throw an error. Can you see it return an error simply because it says Look at the error message. The sheet one already exists in file in this directory. Select, it says select a new sheet or file for output or select an overwrite option for the current file. So let me now show you the better way to handle this. Each time that you know that you're going to run your report, since this is not scheduled this is not scheduled to run on its own, and maybe you want to come to your report tomorrow again and to give it to run it again. The best way for you to do it, for you not to see the error, is that you create and you select the overwrite file. Overwrite file means that it's going to remove it and create another one. The file save the file in the first Alteryx example. Let's just give that a try. So append to existing sheet. It can also be appending to it. It all depends on what you want to do. So the best way to handle this is to select the overwrite file. So if you click on this, can you see it works perfectly, right? So if I go to my desktop, this first Alteryx example is saved on my desktop. Let's go and check it out. Where's it? First Alteryx example. Can you see? So this is the result.